And welcome to the Holistic Monitor. I'm your host, Nick Sconia. And today we're going to be having our special guest, Dr. Emma Wagner, joining us. She is with the San Clemente Vitality Center. And she has a very large variety of services available to you depending on what your issues are. She does online visits, and we're going to be going over that. She also has a book that she offers as well. It's all about taking care of habits and destroying the bad habits and bringing in the good habits. At least that's my assumption. So let's bring Dr. Emma in. Hi, Dr. Emma. How are you doing?
Hi, Nick. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. Looking at your bio, I saw that you work with habit issues, things that people do that they maybe don't know that they're doing, and things that people do that they know they're doing and don't want to do anymore.
Yep.
So that I love. And then you have this wonderful center, San Clemente Vitality Center. You offer online visits.
I do.
And so that allows people from anywhere around the world to be able to access what you do.
Exactly. Well, my job, I find it's really about helping people create better habits, but really understand what's going on within themselves so that they can make better choices. And because we get nothing if we do it once, it's better to do it, to find a way to do it, and create habits in our life, good routines. But the routines don't come because somebody tells you have to do this to lose weight. This comes because it comes from you, because you realize that you want to be that person. And in order to be the person you want to become, you have to look at yourself. And I'm a little bit there for that. It's to help you see what you're not seeing, to help you understand what's going on into your body. I was pretty lucky in growing up because I had a good childhood, and I got to be very curious about life in general and about how the human body function. And it's really interesting to understand how the mind, the emotions, the body, the physical body interact with each other so that you experience life in a certain way. And we create our experiences, we choose our path, but it's also coming from our action, from our curiosity, from our fear. So I help people figure out what's blocking them in a way, how to be more what they want to become.
And your approach is the holistic approach. And when I say that, I mean that it's body, mind, spirit approach.
Totally.
It's trying to assess on 3 different levels of the person, or whatever.
I'm a licensed chiropractor. I'm licensed in California. That's where my center is. So we do offer in-person visits in the center and looking at them as that chiropractic point of view. And this gives me that physical part, that physical vision. It's like, yes, there's a mechanic behind it. The body has a way of functioning. We need specific food. We need exercise. We need water. So that's the mechanical aspect. And then there's definitely the mind. And I've been a practitioner for 20 years. Before becoming a practitioner, I got really interested in the Silva mind control, which is positive thinking, meditation, really that power of the mind. So before I entered chiropractic, before I entered that physical approach to health, I had already that power of the mind behind, law of attraction, how to get into that state where you can access more wisdom, we can call it like this. So it's understanding how the different pieces work together and how to see it in a one person, and how and there's very specific things that you can ask a person and work after that a little bit energetically, because I'm also an energy healer. So there's different layers. So as I evolved, because again, I started early. At 16, I started the Silva Mind Control. At 12, I was guided by a spiritual guardian angel that showed me how to tap into the energy of the world. So as it, what I want to say is that, it's understanding how people function, how life happens, how we can manifest the life we want to manifest, and how we have to be who we need to be to manifest that life. And it starts with us taking actions and being the person we want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a lot of people get involved in a more holistic approach, maybe out of desire. Sometimes it's necessity, but oftentimes it comes from a physical perspective first. It sounds like that was kind of, at least on the part of your medical path, that you were initially kind of turned off by traditional medicine and wanted to go more of a natural route or energetic route.
My dad is a medical doctor, so I cannot say I'm turned off by it, because I have a lot of respect for him, for what he does, for what doctors do around the world, for how they can save life. It's so important in car accidents and accidents in general. There's a place for medicine, and being holistic doesn't mean that we have to be against medical doctors. I think I think my dad said it to me very early on, where he's like, medical doctors have the ability to help to a certain point their patients. And he said it. He said maybe 30% of the population that goes to a medical doctor is helped by that medical doctor. If you can do something for the rest of the 70%, maybe not even the full 70%, but if there's an amount of the population that you can help by doing what you're going to do, and that's when I was starting chiropractic school that he was saying that, I was like, you'll do great.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just about helping where we can and being of service. And I think that's something my dad taught me, that it's good to be there to help people find their own truth and connect with their reality and be better in this world, so that the world can be better, because we're all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that makes the world a better place. You know, if we can get everybody on the same level and wanting the same kind of outcome. I think that many of us get trapped in cyclical thinking. We kind of get stuck in a negative thought that doesn't let us loose, and we're looking for a way to break out of that negative thought pattern or mindset or habit. And it sometimes just takes an outside source to find us a solution to clear that circle and make it a spiral to rise above whatever that negative pattern might be. Do you find that you work a lot with specific population set as far as issues go?
I like working with women more than like working with men. I work with some men and I find them very interesting too. So it's not that, but for some reason, women are more attracted to the work I do. Okay. A lot of anxiety, depression, a lot of multiple. I like mystery illnesses. I like things that don't make quite a lot of sense, and because our medical system is so separated, that you go see the cardiologist, you go see the ENT, you go see the pulmonary doctor, you go see the female doc for other issues. There's not a lot of doctors that look at everything together. So I find that when women starts to be imbalanced emotionally, and they start having sexual issues, and they start to have like anxiety about it, it's kind of snowball a little bit. And
there's a lot that goes into that, as far as the history, that they've already heard things, they've seen somebody else go through issues, they learn a behavior off of that, and then of course whatever they've learned themselves all rolls into the same way that they're going to handle the situation that comes up at that point in time. Exactly. A lot of depression, and a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental
A lot of mental
Yeah.
and digestive too, because very often it works hand in hand. So
Yeah.
lots of libido issues, so I would say a lot of things around women.
Yeah. Okay. And then I also saw that you do homeopathics, or do you still do homeopathics?
We do homeopathics. I've been treated with homeopathic remedies since I've been 12, pretty
Yeah.
much since my parents divorced. My dad
Mm.
would have never had
Oh,
allowed this
really?
in my house.
Yeah.
And as soon as my mom divorced, my mom met an homeopathic doctor that
Mm.
lived down the street, and she convinced her to try our homeopathic remedy on 2 kids that came back from Africa and France in the middle of winter. And it
Yeah.
worked fantastic on all those little winter illnesses. And my
Mm.
mom started giving it to us for this, for that, for
Yeah.
wellness, and it has a big place in how I look at medicine.
Yeah.
Even doing less, I think less is more.
Right. Yeah. It's a very interesting thing. It's very frowned upon in the States, which makes me hesitant to develop into homeopathics because of that shaky ground that it stands on.
Mhm.
But the world over, it's pretty openly accepted, widely
In
used.
France, there's 2 sides, because
Mm.
homeopathy is controlled by by medical doctor. You have to be a medical
Mm.
doctor to become an homeopathic
Wow.
doctor.
Okay.
So there's 2 sides to it. The conventional side, like my dad thinks that is just water pills with sugar. It's
Right. Right.
placebo effect. Besides the placebo effects, there's not a lot of things behind it, but yet the placebo effect is very interesting on its own.
Yeah.
And why would some sugar cure someone?
Right. It's a very interesting thing because you're working into the energetic imprint
Exactly.
of the substance.
Exactly. And so, yeah, we do homeopathics. Right now we're having in the office the NET homeopathic system, NET for
Mm.
neuro-emotional technique,
Oh, okay.
that looks more at homeopathic and treating emotions
Yeah.
um, for helping people's wellness and well-being, and helping balance the system so that the system function better.
Nice. That's great.
And
Yeah.
the entrance would be the emotion. Mhm.
Right. And a lot of people aren't aware, but the mind and emotions are a driving force for a lot of physical
Wellness.
conditions that come up.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
We,
people.
we, I really like Bruce Lipton, and Bruce Lipton talks a lot about epigenetics and about how genes. We talk a lot about genes and how they control who we are, and he brings the fact that it's not the genes but the environment and our perception that
Right.
controls those genes and control what is expressed, because there's many genes that are never expressed, that we can have genes for cancer and never have a cancer. So
Right.
it's not because we have the genes that we have to express it.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to
Um,
get turned on somehow.
it
Yeah.
has to be turned on somehow. And
Hmm.
what he says is the perceptions that we have is the things that turns on those genes. And the perception for me is a lot of emotion and mind. It's what you see in your environment. And
Right.
you want to be right. Our brain is very smart, and it's a very interesting piece where if you think that life is horrible, your brain will make sure that you see only horrible things in the world around you.
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that you get in the place, and the only place you can get to is a horrible place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
that
try
your
to.
action will
Yeah. Go
lead
ahead.
to that horrible place. It's so
Right.
interesting. So that we're sure that we're creating. So one of the first things I tell my patients is start thinking about what is the outcome you really want. And let's talk about positive things that you really want to create. And if you're not creating this, is that because there's another program
Hmm.
that is turning in the background that wants you to get something else?
Yeah.
So the idea is really what is that program and how do we turn it off? I have a patient this week that was telling me that she just survived cancer, that she wants to live, she wants to grow old, she wants to be a grandma, she wants to be, she sees all that. But in the same time, she wants to stay young, and she wants to stay very pretty, and she cannot have 2 extra pounds, she cannot have a wrinkle, and she freaks out every time her body signals her that she is not as young as she is.
Right. She's kind of has an illusion going on as to what reality is presenting, what her genes expression is, and
And
the
because she's very
symptoms.
strong and she has a lot of power within herself,
Mm-hmm.
those two programs are fighting and creating issues within her own system,
Right.
a lot of inflammation, because there's that fight on two very strong need and wants that she has.
Right. And then there's friction in between. Yeah. And friction within that kind of pattern creates a spark and energy and life of its own, and it can get out of hand. Yeah.
And it
That's great.
creates physical issues. It creates issues that you think your body is sick. You don't feel well. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Something that I like to tell people is you can get so anxious and so worried about something, you get sick to your stomach. You
Exactly.
actually feel ill and a pit in your stomach, and it's an actual response to just a feeling. I think a lot of people are a little bit more attuned to that, and even the idea that the law of attraction, which I think has gotten a weird rap over time, but it's just really the concept of understanding that we're like ham radio or CB radio antennas that can bring in and send out messages, and that we are aligned like a tuning fork, and whatever we're putting out there, we're kind of vibrating that and want those things around us to come to us, even if we don't know that we're asking for those things to come to us. They end up in our lives, and we wonder why am I always finding myself in this situation over and over
Mm-hmm.
again? Why won't I learn the lesson or whatever it might be? Yeah.
I was talking about that to a client 1 week ago. She was mentioning that she always attracts the bad boy, the one that
Yeah.
was going to cheat on her and
Right.
that she cannot trust. And we started doing some work together. And at the end of it, she was like, I think I'm creating it. And I'm like, how do you create this? And she's like, well, I don't think at the beginning the guy is cheating on me, but I'm so afraid that he's going to cheat on me that I drive so much craziness around the house where I'm like, are you cheating? Is there a girl that came? Did you do this? Did you do that? Let me
Right.
see your phone. And I'm so paranoid and I'm so crazy about all this that I think I scared the guy away, and the guy has to hide things away from me, and I have to distance himself from me. And that creates exactly what I'm not looking for.
Right. And I almost call it installing a program, because
Mm-hmm.
she's basically putting the program into him.
Yep.
You're cheating on me. You're cheating on me. You're cheating. So I was like, okay,
If it's that's what you
basically,
want, let's do it.
right. You're hypnotizing, and
Mm-hmm.
by that repetition and want and desire for an action to be come to fruition without knowing it. Again, something she doesn't want.
I don't think we're doing a lot of those programs consciously.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you need somebody outside of you to come look at you and to listen to you, able to test you, because I do muscle testing, physically, emotionally, mentally. So to see what's going on in the person, that can be explaining what's going on so that I can ask specific questions. But somebody outside and will be able to see
Yeah.
your repeat pattern.
Yeah. That is, I think it's not necessary, but it's fairly necessary in the beginning, until you understand that that's what's happening and can start
Mm-hmm.
to harness and control those patterns in yourself. You really
Definitely.
do need a guide that kind of says, here we go, we're going to look at the mirror again and we're going to see ourselves, that can kind of work out those patterns that are even isolating the ability for us to know that there are patterns. But then after a while, everybody would be very different in their ability to do that. But after a while, they should be able to kind of begin their own protocols and programs to clear those adverse programs or things that they're getting in their way. Is that something that you teach, is to help people
Mhm.
to do for
To
themselves?
get out of your own way, start loving yourself. Just connect, be curious, trust the world, start to listen to guidance.
Yeah,
Because I've been guided since the age of 12, I like telling people how to tap into that
right.
natural guidance. And that guidance, the world is happy when you listen to it. That you would be surprised how supportive the world is around you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like that tuning fork idea that, once you begin to realign, or, your tuning fork gets a little bit in a different shape, it harmonizes with a whole different perspective that
Mhm.
wasn't really available in the other world, or the other perception, the mindset. And then you have your book, Shattering Habits.
Yep.
Is is that a new venture for you?
It's no, it's been there for a while. I'm writing another one right now, telling them more about my story.
Hmm.
This first one was more one to help people tap into their superpower, just like
Yeah,
start to understand who they are. It was linked with the work I do in the office, so that I could get people more involved,
yeah, right. Give
taking
them
more
something to.
action, starting to like so this is a book, a lot of questions. What do you do? What's your motivation? What do you want to achieve? What's in your way? uh, so it's a book of questions, and it's a book where people have space to answer. It's a small workbook. It's an easy book to read. I have quite a few teachers that have been telling me that they've been using it in classrooms with
That's
students,
great.
because they find it thought generating.
Hmm.
So
That's excellent.
mhm,
Yeah, and
mhm.
that's an idea. Again, it's here are some methods and tools for you. It's kind of like a take home from your
Yeah.
center. Yeah. Okay, that's great. And as far as for online services that you offer, obviously you can't do the full range of
Chiropractic.
things. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And would you work with an office where the person is, as like a referral or something like that, to let them know, like, go see a chiropractor to get this adjustment done.
I have done that.
Yeah.
I have a patient. She's in Maine, I believe.
Hmm.
She, while I was checking her, there was a lot of issues that were digestive, chronic fatigue syndrome. So we were working a lot with what supplements she was taking, how much of those supplements she was supposed to take. We did some energy work to help her balance her system. And at one point, I'm like, your C1 is out. You need a
Mm.
chiropractor. Um, and she found somebody local. I don't remember if I helped her find it, or generally I like people asking their friends, their neighbors,
Right.
who is the best person to go to, because you can see things online that
It's not the
I know
same.
my online
Hmm.
presence is not the best.
Right. Right. It's a whole different can of worms online.
It's
Yeah.
a can of worm.
Yeah. It's better to have that referral from friends and family, that kind of
Exactly.
idea. Yeah.
And so I'm like, just look around, see if there's one of your friends that like the person. And she was really happy with, and it made a big difference in her health to go to a chiropractor. So I
Yeah.
recommend massages regularly
Mm.
too. I find body work being very important, getting the body to move one way or another.
Yeah.
I work with some people in Costa Rica. They don't necessarily have access to a lot of the healthcare professional right there. So having somebody like me that can orient them to the best place that they can be, or help them. And I want to treat this symptom holistically. I don't
Yeah.
want to take meds,
Right.
but I have all those issues. What do I do with this?
Right.
Where do I start?
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people are in. They're in a mystery.
Hmm.
There's an issue. They're not sure exactly how to handle it. They know they don't want to go the regular route quite yet, or they already tried it and it didn't work,
Exactly.
and they're looking for answers. Um,
Most of my patients are people that have tried medical stuff,
yeah.
and either didn't get that much results, or got worse, or are not like I have something else coming up. It fixed something, but it cost me so much that I'm not ready, willing to. Why is my body feeling sick all the time? It's like, how many course of antibiotics should I be taking a year? I'm like, none.
Right. Yeah. Antibiotics. What are you doing? Anti-life.
So
What are you doing?
that's where, for me, it's like, okay, so how can we start you in a better state? I talked not long ago to a young woman. I forgot where she was. I think South San Diego, not far away from me,
Yeah.
but online. And she no energy, sick all the time, not feeling so good, barely starving herself. And the first step was start feeding yourself properly. It's like you cannot survive on frozen wontons.
Yeah. Right. Right. Frozen food. Yeah. Got to change your diet, your eating habits, your lifestyle usually, and the whole world will shift. And I think that's what people are wanting, and they just don't want to take the few first steps. That's just a couple steps.
The few steps are hard.
They
Where
are
are you
very
at,
hard.
Nick? You're 3 hours ahead of me. I'm in California.
I'm in central Kentucky,
Okay.
so East Coast time.
All
At the
right.
end of the East Coast time
Is
zone.
it
Yeah.
easy to find good food to be healthy in Kentucky?
I don't know that it's known for it, but there are definitely. It's very agricultural, so
Okay.
there is definitely access to it. It's more known for a southern diet, I think.
Like fried
Yeah,
food?
yeah, fried food,
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, but there is grocery stores and all of that that has access to at the very least. The full round of what Kroger has to offer, or Meyer, or something like that. And we have a co-op or two.
I like carbs.
Yeah. Got to have a few co-ops. Trader Joe's. But that's very interesting, and something that I find with a lot of people working through mental and emotional trauma is that they also have a dietary thing going on as well. So it kind of lines up, and whether or not it's developed into a whole string of other conditions, they may want to change their life, but aren't aware that something like a mental hangup is creating this cascade or waterfall of just constant strange or off behaviors that create bad behaviors, etc.
I found very interesting the concept of comfort food in the US.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
France,
Wow.
we're very I'm French. I grew
Okay.
up in France. My mom's French. We cook a lot at home. Food is very important in my family. So I like food. I cook a lot for my family.
Mm-hmm.
But I came to the US and I'm hearing about that comfort food. And I'm like, comfort food sounds really good.
I mean,
It's
it does. Yeah. Yeah.
and when I started looking at
Mm-hmm.
what comfort food is,
Mm-hmm. It's the
it's very
worst.
interesting.
Yeah, it's
It's the
the
most
worst food you could
toxic.
eat.
It's the worst food, and it is generally like so industrial and so like not homemade and so
Right,
not
right.
made with love to comfort you.
Well, and it could be, but it's just not made. It's not the kind of food you should be eating. And that's the comfort means I'm being bad and I don't
Right,
care. That's really what comfort means. I'm not considering the repercussions of this food.
but
Uh,
and I think that says a lot about the American philosophy of life. It's like to
well,
comfort
yeah.
myself, I have to be bad.
Yeah, yeah, there is a whole thing that goes with that. And then you see, I'd say that it's a somewhat newer program, but there is a go, go, go kind of,
There in South Orange County, there's a really like strong go 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 push
yeah,
push push.
right,
There's the master, and the master is the mind, and there's the slave, and the slave is the physical body, and you cannot give the slave what it needs, and
right.
except when you comfort him with comfort food.
Well, yeah, here's your donut.
Be comforted.
Yeah, yeah. The sugar, I think, is one of the more out of control additives in food here. I think I saw recently the difference in food additives with the same kind of boxed I don't remember what it was, but it was something. It was like instant oatmeal or something like that. Instant oatmeal here and instant oatmeal in, if they even have
Italy.
it. Yeah, in Italy. And there's like 5 ingredients in Italy and there's 25 here. And it's just like, why is it chock full of all this stuff that should be making the cost go up, up, up? And yet it's still like, 50 cents a pack or whatever.
I think it's
It's
I think
crazy.
it doesn't necessarily make the food goes up. The price of the food goes up necessarily. I think it make it more addictive, more
Definitely.
shelf stable,
Right.
so that things can stay on the shelf for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And that goes into a strange habit of consumerism to hoard. But that's something different in Italy.
Yep.
When I was in Italy, the idea of going out to eat was something that was like a special event,
Mm-hmm.
and you pay to sit just because you're in the environment. I mean, wouldn't you pay to go anywhere to just be in a great place? So you'd pay
Yep.
to sit at the restaurant for the ambiance, and you've got their full attention for hours.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying a chair fee, a table fee, and you eat, and it could take you hours to eat. And
Yep.
if people actually clock themselves here, the most meals are done under 40 minutes.
Yep.
It's very quick, where you
The
just don't see
turnover
that
needs to be
pace.
important so that you can have more clients and
Yeah. The go.
Mhm.
Like, well,
The go go
gotta
go's
move.
time. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a tricky thing to break, because that is the main driving, I would say, main driving philosophy of this governmental system, is
Yep.
to
It,
get
it, it
more.
has a lot of implication to have a holistic mindset.
Yeah.
It's not just one. There's so many pieces in that holistic puzzle, and time is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
How we use our time,
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And how
Mhm.
we enjoy our time.
How we
Yeah.
enjoy our time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it was really nice having you here today.
Well, it
Great
was a pleasure being
discussion.
here talking with you.
Absolutely. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the listeners to help them find you?
To help them find me, dremmawagner.com, sanclementevitality.com. I have 2 websites.
Okay.
One more for my center, one more for me. Um, what I want to say is just be curious. We need people that are awake, that are alive, that are full of wants and needs and wants to make this place a better place. I think my job here is not, I don't want to promote myself. I'm not coming here for that. I want people to be alive. I want people to start waking up to the beautiful life that they have, that life is short, that this is now. And then if everyone wants to have a better now, we can have a better now. We can be on a better planet. We can make all better choices. And we need to be in there together to do this. And yeah, I'm here for a better life.
Yeah. Good goals.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. And that's partly why I do this podcast, is to really spread the message, spread people's message,
And
and to
having
try
a
and,
better life is easy. And,
yeah,
and there's nothing magical, there's nothing mystical, there's nothing crazy,
right.
there's nothing difficult about it. There's just opening our heart to a little bit more, to be a little bit curious, to a little bit more childish, to taking actions that we're not sure or we're a little bit afraid of taking. I think our biggest gift is in the things that we do not want to be doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if I can encourage you to do that a little bit today, that's what I'm here for.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, Dr. Emma, appreciate it.
Nick, it was a pleasure to meet you.
And I'll have all of your information in the description. And I look forward to another discussion.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Emma. Take
You're
care.
welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.